pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The meeting August 19, 2014. In order. Call forward, please.
Goddard. Here. Left. Here. Whiting.
Here.
Olson.
Here.
Macula. Gambino.
Here.
Gary.
Here.
Let's approve the minutes, please.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes for the regular August 5th meeting.
Second.
Made and seconded. Call, please.
Goddard.
Yes.
Left.
Yes.
Whiting.
Yes.
Olson.
I wasn't here, abstained.
Macula.
Yes.
Gambino.
Yes.
Gary.
Yes.
On to accounts payable.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion, we pay accounts payable with the addition of a $693.09 expense to the Oregon Mayor's Association.
What that's for is to reimburse Mayor Macula for mileage and the conference, the lodging for the conference.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Call, please.
Left.
Yes.
Whiting.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Macula.
Abstain for reimbursement.
Gambino.
Yes.
Gary.
Yes.
Goddard.
Yes.
On the special orders. Orders for, apparently that young lady is not going to be here.
Mayor Macula, would you like me to read the proclamation, or does the council want to discuss it, or?
It's pretty explanatory.
Pardon me?
I said it's pretty explanatory what it is.
Yeah, that's, go ahead.
I'd like to have it read personally, for nothing else but that.
Or, yeah,
Please read it.
And I'd start with saying that the request for the council to adopt and sign this proclamation was submitted by Kristen Lowe Bartel, who is the Quinta Chapter Regent for Daughters of American Revolution. And the proclamation they submitted reads, whereas it is the privilege and duty of the American people to commemorate the 227th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America with appropriate ceremonies and activities, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17 through 23 as Constitution Week. Now therefore, and it would be blank, filled in by mayor, actually we would fill it in by city council if people may, it would be mine. By virtue of the authority vested in us as the city council of the city of Depoe Bay, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17 through 23 as Constitution Week, and urge all citizens to study the Constitution and reflect on the privilege of being an American with all the rights and responsibilities which that privilege involves.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the request for proclamation from the Daughters of the American Revolution to proclaim the week, September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Day and approve signature of the mayor.
I second the motion.
Motion made and seconded. The Constitution is the most valuable thing we have in our country as far as the founding fathers put our nation together is concerned. So please call.
Whiting.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Macula.
Yes.
Gambino.
Yes.
Gary.
Yes.
Goddard.
Yes.
Left.
Yes.
On to item 6, reports of officers, boards, or standing committees.
Bill Swan, Parks Commission. Dedication, as you all know, went very, very well. We need thanks to Brady for having the park ready and all the work done. Well,
Thank you.
99%.
Yeah, 99.99.
And to Brady and Brett for giving us their musical tributes, which was very entertaining. It made the afternoon even more enjoyable. And it was going on as I was leaving. Thanks to Robert Dickerson for getting the barbecue prepared, and actually Robert and his family, and an extra help in preparing from Skip and from Ken White. So that all went very well. Dorinda and Beatrice did the salads and or arranged the salads and the baked beans, and I'm not absolutely sure where they came from.
It was the chamber effort.
So the chamber did a good job covering that part of the event also. And I guess that's primarily it. We need, I think, to send some thanks to Thriftway, Lincoln Beach Market, because they furnish some, at least the drinks, part of the drinks. And also to Depoe Bay Bakery for the great cake, which Megan comes to arrange that. And I had to be in Portland that evening, so I left before the cleanup happened. I'm not sure who was responsible, but it all came off well. I left, it was 66 degrees and fog, and got to Portland, it was 96 degrees. So I would have rather been here at the time. That is all, and thank you very much for everyone's efforts.
Thank you.
Thanks for the update.
Do you have any other reports? Brady, do you have something?
No.
Correct? No? Moving on. Going to item 7, public comments. Do you have any comments? We'd like to take those now. Thank you. On to unfinished business. Item A, the seasonal harbor workers position. Maybe I guess that's in your ballpark.
Yeah, there's a insert that we have for the council directing me to look into the budget, hurry, and it would, it still would be feasible to give it an hour, an increase by $1 an hour, and it would only cut down to, what was it, about
I think about a week and a half.
a week and a half less than what he would work, so I think it would be feasible, and it would be good. He's doing a really good job, and he's worth way more than what we can afford to pay him right now, but he's just kind of hanging in there for us. He likes the crew, and he gets along with everybody. He's a hard worker, so I think it's well worth the money. So I think we should maybe not have the chance of losing him, and give him $1 more, and keep him through September, and part of October maybe, and see how things go. Everybody agrees with that.
What action do we need to take to make that happen?
Well, Brady, who's the supervisor of the field crew, I think, are you more comfortable if the council says, yeah, we support that?
I think so. If the council supports with me, I would feel a little better. Yeah,
Is
it's not my
consensus
problem.
okay?
I got a question for you.
Sure.
Is Lewis, does he get the same as the harbor worker?
No, actually, Lewis is going through another temporary service. It's
Oh, okay.
Barrett and Associates, and we actually hired John as a temporary employee through the city. we use Barrett and Associates to get Lewis. Actually, Lewis is moving on, he's going to Toledo. So,
Well, I've seen both Lewis and John in working conditions, and they,
yeah, they're hard workers. Yeah. I hate to lose Lewis, but he's still with Barrett, so
yeah.
if something happens down the road, you know, he's got his foot in the door in my opinion, so. They're both great workers. So I'll go ahead and give John a $1 an hour more. We're going to lose Lewis, but a lot of the real heavy, you know, weed eating is completed through town. John's hanging in there. Tuna's really going right now. When the ocean calms down, tuna's going to be even more prevalent. So we need to be ready for that. We've got enough manpower. We're getting a grip on the dumpsters, and I think we're a lot better shape than we were last summer. So that's kind of where we're at on the temporary help.
I believe we're in a lot better shape than we were last summer, and it's solely due to John.
Yeah.
I've watched him down there. He does really good things. He never stops moving.
He's efficient.
Yes, and he's efficient, and he's smart. And I think the city would just, it would be crazy to lose him at this point.
Right. It's kind of my.
And I'm very impressed with the work. I guess it's Lewis that's doing along the street and the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Looking beautiful.
Yeah, he's been cleaning all the cracks and cleaning the street gutters and getting the grass out, and that really pretties up the town.
It does.
And it doesn't look so junky, I guess. And we're going to be painting the curbs. ODOT's doing some bridge work. We're going to resurface the bridge. And so along with that and getting some of the stripes back, trying to get ODOT to do the diagonal striping for parking, because it's really, you can't even see it from about the bridge north to Whale Fountain Park. You can't see the parking slashes, but ODOT isn't real big on putting diagonal parking anywhere on 101 through Oregon. We're unique in the fact that we're the only city on the Oregon coast that has diagonal parking that backs out into Highway 101. So that's the reason why they don't help with community. But they're okay with us doing it if it's on the city's dime. So kind of in a wide position.
What did we pay the temporary worker last year? That John's the newest, greatest worker.
Right.
And we had somebody in
Yeah, we had Christopher last year.
Right.
He was $10 an hour.
Always 10 an hour. Okay, no, that's it. I was just asking.
Yeah.
So what we have now with John,
No, I know.
this is amazing.
I'm just asking why.
I'm just curious.
Sure.
What would it cost to paint the stripes ourselves?
So I've already done the south of the bridge through, let's see, Ellington Street to the fire hall on one side. The other side is kind of where the Whale Museum is. We did there's one wheelchair parking. So that was $420 to do the south of the bridge. And the north of the bridge, all the way to the Whale Fountain Park, is going to be $1,400 and some odd. Just remembering the price quote from Allen and Son. But it's a lot of paint. And they got to get in there at wee hours in the morning, and our crew will help prep, and then they do some vacuuming, and there's some cleaning along with that, because the paint's got to have a good clean surface. So it's about $1,400.
Who did the paint stripe on the hill?
Did you ever comment?
That was Allen and Son.
Yeah, but the question, if ODOT is unwilling to do the painting, are they willing to cough up some paint?
No, I've tried both.
Okay.
There's some controversy in some of the wording. We've asked for where that was in writing, because they said it was in writing somewhere, and we've yet to hear back from them. But in the meantime, I needed to get it done, especially in the south area was really bad. The north area is really bad also. So
Well, we also run the risk. I mean, we have to be careful if we holler too much in ODOT's direction. We're liable to
Yes.
end up in a big battle about the parking, and I don't think we
Right.
want that right
You
now.
know, parking is a big issue to people. But I'm keeping track of all the receipts and everything, so in case there's a reimbursement or something, or you never know. So,
Good.
but I'm moving forward with it just because of, you know, we almost have to do it. And it's good for the businesses, and I think it's safer, rather than folks guessing. And if somebody gets hurt and they're backing out of an area, you can't even see if it's parking, then maybe there's some problems down the road. So I think I'm gonna move ahead and get the north of the bridge done.
I think there's a lot of good reasons for doing it. I agree with you.
Okay.
So what are we supposed to do, Doug? Are we supposed to vote for this?
No, it's just kind of letting the council know that they were aware of kind of what the situation was with that diagonal parking. It's kind
No,
of
I was talking
unusual.
about the worker.
No, we don't have
Oh.
to vote.
We don't have to
We
do
don't
it.
have to vote.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
As long as
go-
there's consensus and.
Yeah, well, Lewis is going to work for Toledo, and John's going to stay through October.
Okay.
Okay, was that it, Ray?
Yeah, I kind of wandered into ODOT stuff, but I'm sorry.
That's all right. Well done. Item B, bid award, fish plant, Jib Crane, re-advertise, what's that? What was
Um,
there?
We didn't get any bids on jib crane, so what, we can either re-advertise again, or I could go back to the original price quote from US Crane and just get the jib made, or just hold off, maybe remove the bad crane that's been locked out, get it off the platform, and just see what the situation is with the fish plant moving forward, if we need to put a jib crane in. Now, I was told a couple months ago that we absolutely should have one in there regardless, so I'm kind of in a gray area if I should go ahead and get one from US Crane now, and have one made, or just kind of stay pat and remove the old one and kind of work with a new tenant, if, you know, if there's a...
Well, if we're gonna make that operational, we need that crane.
Yeah, okay, then I can, if the council would like, I can move forward and have the jib made by US Crane, which is all certified, and they have all the specs, and they're...
And this boom is long enough to reach out
Yeah.
over the off of.
Yeah, it's the original design, but it was kind of spendy. It did get into the budget, but I went out to get bids on it, and I never got any bids. US Crane is actually busy. They never put one in time, but I have the original price, and he just said, let me know, and we'll get you scheduled.
What is their price?
It was, I think it was around 16,
And it's in the budget, we put it in the
we
budget.
put it in the budget,
Yeah.
yes.
And how's the fish plant repairs going? Are you on
It's-
target with them?
Yes,
Or
everything
what?
is, the fish plant is finished, clean. It looks fantastic. The only thing that's left is we're putting a water line down at the embankment. It took a little while because we're gonna bore that. We're gonna go under the existing pathway, under the building where the other one went. So we get a little boring machine, they go down all the way down to the building below. The water meter will be up top. It'll be one solid line rather than pieces of PVC and stuff. We've had a lot of repairs over the years where the line broke here and broke there. So this will be one solid piece of hex pipe that can freeze and thaw. You know, it's real durable.
And then when that repair is done, are we under budget, over budget, or at budget?
We're actually under from the
Original bid, that we had
from the original
price sheet.
in the budget that we put in for it. Yeah, we're pretty.
That's
Oh, yeah.
good.
We're able to have,
Jib
we're able to have
Yeah, we need that crane.
the Teenage Consortium do a lot of the work, which was free, and then the field crew did a lot of the work too, the sewer line cleaning. But everything's done, heaters are in, we've got new plumbing inside, we've got a way to drain the system, but if the council would like, every now and then, we could do a tour through there or something and take a look at it here and there. If somebody wants to schedule with me, we can run down and go through and I'll show everybody here and there. It's maybe not one meeting, but whoever schedule works out and gets a hold of me, I'll take them down there.
He gives a great tour. And I must say that I think he should be commended for managing this whole process very well.
Very well.
Yeah, it was an interesting project.
So would we be in trouble to go back just to say U.S. Crane was the only one that bid on this to award that contract?
I think once we put it out already, we invited by all the,
Yeah.
We actually advertised it publicly twice, and the only respondent was U.S. Crane.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to this. That motion would be that we instruct staff Brady to go ahead and get to work with U.S. Crane, and that budget is not to exceed, what was the number? 20,000?
it was 20, gosh, I didn't have it.
I recall that their proposal was in two pieces, and I recall the total being around $18,000.
Not to exceed $20,000.
That should say.
Motion made, seconded. Any more comments, please?
We should be fine.
And I still think we're so close to leasing that property, I really think that we should hang on just a little bit more and see what the company that leases the property has the input on this. See what they have to say.
We'll hold it off
Doesn't
until the
make
end.
I can't argue with that.
So I could bring it up in my city staff report at the very end.
And we're going to discuss that
Yes, we are.
now, so.
Then can I take back my
We
motion
just,
for this
yeah, we
one?
can just put it off.
I'll just take back my motion for now. We'll go ahead and discuss it a little later. Yes, ma'am.
Well, the only fear I have is that, like he just said, that it takes them a while to get the crane in. And I'm afraid if we dawdle on it, it might be too late before the season
Or
starts.
we might have an opportunity to talk to someone about that.
Okay.
We were going to wait till the end down here in this.
Yeah, just till the end of this meeting we're talking about.
Oh, okay. I was,
However, now that we're on this subject, what is the timeframe for U.S. Crane?
They can get started within 6 weeks. And probably, once it's made, I mean, probably in their shop, once I say go, they're gonna build, they do a lot of the build in their shop, and then they would come down and remove, like the prices, removal and set up with a new one, so.
So that's like October 1st.
Yeah, right, yeah. So if I call George tomorrow, then they would get started. And, yeah, we have an open account with U.S. Crane, so we wouldn't have to do money down or anything.
Is the anchor base sufficient?
Yes.
It's in good shape?
Yes, that was part of the original refurbishing of the fish plant in the mid-90s, that those bases were part of that structural integrity part of the whole building. And there's also an area that's meant to have a dock and a gangway. Yeah.
Well, I think we ought to go ahead with that crane business. A couple of reasons. One is that when this lease is left, it's very possible that whoever does the leasing might want to add some equipment of their own. So I want to get that going ASAP.
Yeah, okay, sure. So do you want to, we'll bring it up then towards the end of the meeting and my
Do your staff
staff.
report ready. Do your staff report.
Okay, absolutely, okay.
On to the Harbor Master Advisory Committee.
I asked the mayor to put this matter on this agenda just to have you review the membership that we have collected since the advisory committee was created and confirm that this membership works. Now, Jerome Grant did submit his letter of resignation from the Nearshore Action Team because he served on the Harbor Commission and the Nearshore Action Team. And the city has a rule where one person doesn't serve on more than one committee. So he did submit that resignation on August 8th, and the Nearshore Action Team has not accepted his resignation from the Nearshore Action Team, but it's been submitted. So I don't know. What do you guys think about the recap of those that have volunteered to serve on that advisory committee for the Harbor Master Plan is the mayor, Skip Whiting, Councilor Brent Perry is an alternate, Dick Johnson, Urban Renewal Agency Chair, Harbor Commission Chair Jerome Grant, and Berla Maggie Thomas. And then staff assignments were our city planner Larry Lewis and city superintendent Brady Widener. And at this point, the only person officially appointed to this committee is Maggie Thomas. So I don't know if you're ready to deal with this tonight and get that committee rocking and rolling, or
So what are you looking for, a motion to make this?
please.
I move that we accept these people's application to be on the Harbor Commission, and we let, use the proper word, let them take their seats and get the commission started soonest.
Oh, well, I'll wait till we have discussion.
Second.
Okay, now?
No.
As I look at this, my only concern is that the only working fisherman in here at the moment is the mayor, and none of the sport, what am I trying to say? None of the charter captains are represented here, and there's such a big majority in the harbor that I think we have to have one of them, and I don't know that it matters which one, except that it has to be someone who's interested in developing the master plan. I think we ought to have one of them on here as a committee person.
Well, we only have 6, and there's supposed to be 7 in the committee. Is that right? I count 6 people. 1, 2, 3,
Well, if you count the staff members, then you're, well, and Brent's an alternate, so I don't know if you want to.
You have 7 with staff.
You have 7 with staff plus an alternate, so.
But I mean, I think that we ought to, I don't know how to do that. I mean, do we advertise it, or do we?
We've advertised, we've posted a notice.
But, we advertised in the middle of the busiest time of the year for charter fishing boats.
There was an announcement at a Harbor Commission meeting back in June, so I don't know.
What's Jerome
Do you want to
Grant?
just volunteer
What's Jerome
somebody?
Grant? I want to go home.
Just volunteer somebody then.
Well, I mean, there are what, 20
No, your point is,
some cap, I
part of
just
your point
think.
is well taken. We don't have it. Dorinda, did we not do a good job advertising the opening to the
Well,
person?
like Bart was saying, it was all done in the middle of the busiest season this town this fishing community has seen in 30 years.
Yeah.
I'm in that
I know,
pool as well,
I know. So you know
But-
exactly
So you
what
know
we're
what
talking
we're
about.
talking about.
but what I'm saying that, yes, we should have a member from the charter people. That should be done, and it should be done, so, yes.
Why can't we not have a rule then saying like, okay, we form this committee and later on if somebody from the charters wants to be part of this committee, why can't we just say, no, it's too late, why can't we let them in later on? I know it's unorthodox, but if it best serves the city, why not do something unorthodox and let that person be part of the committee on a later date once the fishing season is done, Once they have time to put input in, they can hop into, have the committee form and have them join at a later date.
I have no problem with that. My issue is, we need to recruit somebody to make sure that we get somebody.
I mean, like you said, I've been talking to some of the captains, and like I said, right now,
Well, right, it's the middle of the busiest, yeah.
So, and at a later date, they would be able to talk to you.
And so, oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Well, if we're gonna have another guy from the charter business, then he ought to be in this right at the start, so he knows exactly what's going on. We shouldn't let someone in and they're gonna know what we've been talking about for 2 months. 3 months.
Well, the reality is by the time, I mean, we're in the middle of August now. It's gonna be 6 to 8 weeks. You know, there's no reason the committee can't wait and have its first meeting at the end of September too.
Well, we'd have to change to take another person on, we'd have to change the parameters of the committee. Because we have 7 members now, are we gonna move that to 8?
Well, how did we decide there were gonna be 7?
I'm not sure. It was in the motion though.
Was it in the
Seven
motion?
committee.
Okay. No, you never want to even number.
No, I know
anybody.
that, I
Right.
know.
Yes.
I do agree with Barb. I think it's highly important to have some people on this committee that actually have a relationship with the harbor, that actually have some knowledge of the harbor. There aren't very many out here right now. I see one.
Well, I recommend that we consider tabling this until the end of September. And between now and the end of September, we actively recruit, someone.
And who do we ask to stay on the committee? Or do we go to 9? And my fear is if we go to 9 members of the committee, we're never going to make any members.
Well, the staff could function as staff to the committee and not actually be committee members.
I thought that's how it was set up to begin with.
Yeah, so did I, but since I didn't remember for sure.
So as Brent being, I'm sorry, Steve, you wish.
Is there a date that we have to have a harbor master plan?
No,
It's just that we need
it's
a
just
harbor master.
important and we should have one, but it's waited all this time, another few weeks is not gonna hurt.
Well, I'd just like to say that Maggie Thomas hardly knows anything about that port, because I've talked to her, and I am not really that familiar, other than what we've gone through with the urban renewal. So, and just looking at it, but maybe we ought to wait a while.
So we'd actually need 2.
Yeah.
We would need 2 because Brent's serving as an alternate.
So that would be 5 right now.
Right, so you need 2 more people to do this.
And there really should be 2 people that have a relationship with the harbor.
And nobody seconded my motion, so it can just die.
Okay, let's consider this, people. But, we know now that the dredging is going to take place in September. We know that. So it really wouldn't hurt us to put it off for a little while.
Yeah, that's great, you're right.
So who's, you guys gonna, are you gonna spearhead who's going to, who's gonna do that? Who, they're talking about actively recruiting, which is fine. Who's gonna do that active recruiting?
I don't think you can, she's
She's
out of her
busy.
mind, right?
She's busy.
I'll volunteer to do that. How's that?
Well, I feel that what we should
Well, I
do,
bet you're busy.
we should advertise and have staff do that for that position.
Staff did advertise.
Well,
The problem
if
is
we're
during,
waiting this long, we might as well do it again.
oh, okay,
Do that in
sure,
conjunction.
sure. And I can still recruit.
I think you all can recruit.
Yeah, we all
Talk to
can
people.
recruit.
I mean, we talk to people anyway.
Right, that's exactly, you're right.
Of course.
It's just really hard to ask these guys to pile something else on top of their lives right now.
Right.
Because they're all working 7 days a week,
I mean,
12 hours a
so
day.
maybe we shouldn't even, we should advertise through the end of September and look at appointing in October. Because I'm thinking even now, not even time to say I'm interested.
Right, you're right.
So,
And why don't, we could even put off the advertising until mid-September,
sure, sure. If that's.
because they're not gonna be reading those anyway.
We have another very large salmon season opening at the end of August.
Yeah.
That'll go through September, that has all of these guys' attention. Yeah.
Right,
and
well, that's
they're
what
not
I was
there.
talking about with the dredging, because that isn't gonna happen until the end of September anyway, so.
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and do it that way.
Okay, so we're looking for 2 members that know, preferably know about the workings of the harbor.
Right.
And we'll put out the advertisement about late September and run it till, we try to close those, like the Thursday before a council meeting,
Yeah.
so we can bring them down.
So run until just before the second meeting in October.
Okay.
Yeah.
What date
Good.
is that on?
Good, good, good.
That would be right on.
Okay, which, the ninth, is the first meeting, the
Yeah.
23rd.
23rd of September?
20, yeah,
No, it's
16th, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, 16th.
the second and the 16th. First and the second and the 16th. And there's a long gap.
And then the next one's not.
Big 3 weeks.
All right, thank you. I'll do that.
All right, on to the Glen Sanitary District request to review the agreement. We have,
I'm sorry, Brad was here as well. If you'd like to say
yes,
something.
that's the end. Yeah, please come up.
I'm just here to watch you guys. All I know is what I read on the internet. Apparently we had a meeting a couple weeks ago, and I guess there was a little bit of a ruckus about pipe gonna break, spill stuff into the bay immediately.
That was,
We weren't gonna provide funding to fix it, and I don't know, we said that we weren't gonna do it. And 85% of the stuff in that pipe comes from Glen Beach, and we refuse to fix anything, and I don't know that Glen Beach has ever refused to participate in fixing anything. I do know that we do share facilities with you guys. In sharing those facilities, we get the honor of paying for 59% of the sewage treatment plant expenses, even though we only ship 51% of the flow to the sewage treatment plant. But that was something that was decided way back in the 70s and has kept through the 90s. And it's been a great distraction to the ability of Glen Beach and Depoe Bay working together over the years. I want to get past that. We pay our bills. We would like to continue to pay our bills. We would like to work together. We would like to work towards working and understanding that we pay the lion's share of the bills. And we would like that not be always the reason why you guys have a problem with the sewage treatment plant. Okay? Or with your waste treatment system. We're not. We get treated like a red-headed stepchild. We don't think we are. We think we are your best customer. We pay the lion's share of the bill.
All right.
Okay, now what I would like is
Can
wait a minute. What I would like is to develop a partnership.
Mr.
My name is Brad
A
Baines.
lot of people
Mr.
don't know
Baines.
who you are.
I'm Brad Baines.
Please,
I'm part of the board of directors of Glen Beach, okay?
that's fine. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to have our city superintendent explain to you what is really going on as far as that repair is across at Vista station.
That lift station runs 2 hours a day.
And Brady, could you give them some insight on
Yeah, that is,
That pumps runs
I
2
would
hours a day.
I would appreciate it if you would not interrupt a staff person when he's trying to explain something. Please wait until he is finished. That's called basic good manners.
Okay.
well, anyway, what the urgency.
You want a brand new pump station.
You interrupted him again.
He wants a brand new pump station for something that runs 2 hours a day.
No.
This is-
And he wants us to pay for it.
Mr. Baines,
That was
please.
not it.
He's trying to give you the facts of what really happens over there.
So a lot of that newspaper article that was in the, on the internet was a lot of misinformation. He said it would spill into the bay. A lot of that was added on to, if you listen to the minutes of the meeting, he took a lot of that out of context and added the line that just went across the highway was the entire line. And then he said if it broke, it would go, that was all done by the reporter.
Why don't you explain the facts of the situation?
So what the real, it's in the RFP, exactly what we need to do is not, the pump station is fine, it has been replaced in 2003. The wet well is fine. What is bad is they never addressed, they, meaning the engineers at the time, never addressed the line that went under the highway. And that's the only part that we've put lots of repairs on over the past.
Under the highway.
Not under the highway, on each side. We've had to fix about 3 or 4 on one side and 1 on the other side over by the 76 station over the last, since the mid-90s.
So you're saying that we've got to repair the line under the highway?
We need to replace it.
Why?
Because it's an AC line that's really brittle, and when we did do repairs on it, it was scary that it would even take the repair claim because it was so old and
Brady, you
integrity.
told-
But I'd asked for,
I've got a really good idea.
I'd asked if we could video those lines, and your answer has been,
They don't.
your contractor won't video.
do it.
And I've asked if,
Well,
you know, let's get
Let him
another
answer your
contractor.
question.
Number one, the contractor that did the work was Glen Eden Beach's contractor, was TLC, that Mark hires. That's why we went with him, because Mark recommended him. And it's a pressure main, 8-inch, which is just like a water main.
But there won't be pressure on it if you turn your pump off.
Yeah, but you can't get a camera through it because it's got fittings like a water main. It's tight. The camera's long, has tracks on it. It's made to go through fall sewer, like a big sewer line. That's what TV sewer is. When you have a pressure main, all you can really do is maybe pig the line or clean it. You can't run a camera through it because it's just like a water main. And they don't TV water mains unless they're gigantic. An 8-inch line inside is only like that. The camera itself the tracks won't fit through a tight 45 or how those fittings are over there. And when I talked to Mike from the company that does the TV work, he actually was the one that said you absolutely can't do that to that size of line. You can't, because it's almost treated like a water main.
Yeah.
But the reason I feel though like that is because I was involved in doing the repairs.
Let me bring this up.
Sure.
I talked to Mark Schneider at length about this, and he fully understands the problem that we're up against. And it isn't just Glen Eden, it's Depoe Bay as well.
Right.
He knows what's going on. So therefore, what I would recommend that you do is go back and have a talk with Mark
That's fine.
Schneider and find out.
That's fine.
exactly-
We have a meeting next week.
Find out exactly what is going on, and he'll give you the straight story.
That's fine. We have a meeting scheduled for next week, and we can talk about it at that meeting.
Okay.
Okay, this whole thing got started because I asked for 2 things. One is I asked, where are the pictures that I was promised? And the second thing was, could I see the request for quote? And I was told, I don't get to see any requests for quotes. I'd like to see requests for quotes before you're going out
Yeah.
and,
So that's-
and spending money for or requesting for money because, you know, I get to pay 59%.
Yeah, actually,
I'm getting to pay 59% of the bill.
Well, I actually have a suggestion, Brad. That's just a suggestion. As you say, we are meeting next week. Perhaps letting Water and Sanitary Sewer District can present a list of questions, articulating what it is that you have problems with in the process and the contract, and also the replacement of this line. That would be helpful, because obviously it's quite emotional.
Well, I mean,
It
in
is.
May, May was the
Now
last
it's
time
my
we
turn to
met.
speak, okay?
May was the last
I
time
was
we met.
when you spoke, it's my turn to speak,
Okay.
okay? Sincerely, I would get with your people and formulate a list, because all I have here, and no offense, is somebody who's shouting at my staff member. And that's not an effective way to solve or resolve or come together and take care of a problem. So we meet next week, that's my suggestion to you, that's all I have to say, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. That's wisdom.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Are you gonna have an attorney at this meeting? Tuesday?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, is it, no, it's Monday, isn't it?
Monday or
It's
Tuesday?
Monday. Is that
I
right?
think it's Tuesday.
Or is it Tuesday this year?
I thought
I believe it's
I
Tuesday.
thought we had this all
It's
settled.
on the calendar.
When our meetings,
This is not.
It's the 26th at 4 o'clock. It's 26th at 4 o'clock.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just leave it where it is for now.
And my wife changed it down.
I'll have the meeting.
But,
And if
okay.
you would get the
No, I didn't, no attorneys that I know of.
Oh, good.
No.
That makes it.
Are you having attorneys?
We can't afford it, so we have to pay 49% of that bill.
So I apologize for the misinformation in the paper, Dave. Was going by what we were saying, didn't really understand, and kind of put it in his own words. Sometimes reporters do that, and
I would like to have
Could
a
you take this
progressive.
discussion offline?
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
This is really eating into important.
Okay, sure.
chamber
Okay.
business.
that was one of
Thank
the
you.
issues that were,
Yeah, and we'll discuss it next week.
okay.
Great.
Fine.
Should be an issue. meeting.
Didn't really want to be here.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
On the new business. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask the council, last meeting, you received a letter from Attorney Dennis Bartolis, representing the Wilmington Sanitary District, requesting that a negotiating team be set up to review the agreement. So do you want to wait to respond to that letter for a while yet, or?
Well, now, wait a minute, I'm totally confused.
Uh,
I thought that at the last meeting, we said, send 2 letters. The first one saying that we're moving ahead with this district because we're so concerned about it. And the second one is, of course, we'll meet and we'll work out the details.
yeah.
And that was supposed to be done by now.
Well, the first letter regarding Vista Maine actually will go off in the mail tomorrow. But what happened with this letter was, because if you'll recall, I brought up that the agreement says if either party requests review and negotiation, then the advisory committee shall. But they're asking for a separate team with only 2 members from each. So it got, and I remember asking if you want to talk about this a little further, and that's why it was on the agenda. So,
Well,
I thought we had talked about having the advisory team be the negotiating team.
well, that's what
what rules are set up.
That's what the contract says, but they're asking in their letter for, they've appointed 2 people, and they're asking the city to appoint 2 people, which currently we have 3 advisory committee members, so,
And that's the way the rules are set up according to the contract, and I think that's the way it ought to stay.
so do you want to just respond to them saying, yes, but our 3 advisory committee members will be on
I
this
prefer to wait
negotiating
until that meeting next week. I have to honestly say, if that's our negotiating partner, it's going to be a very difficult negotiation, from my observation. So, I would rather wait till next week if that's
That's the
okay.
least of it.
Probably so.
And not only that, but they're calling for a renegotiation that they claim that was sent by their attorney. Correct me if I'm wrong. They have the right to renegotiate.
They do,
Yes.
according to the document.
They have the right to request, and so does the city. And at that point, the agreement says, then the advisory committee shall review and
And it's
negotiate.
dated between 2014 and 2015, so we have time on this. It's not that we have to rush to give Mr. Bailey free
Well,
food
it's certainly not
transmission.
gonna hurt to wait till next week's
No, it's
meeting,
not.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe it's time to cool down a little.
It's the biggest problem in my mind is misinformation.
That's correct, 100%.
right, and it's always the same one or two, but, I mean,
Yeah, and I thought we had this all settled with them, but, you know?
You know, I'll tell you, there's always that under the layer thing with those guys, especially Mr. Bailey seems like a nice enough guy, but it's going to be an interesting
Well,
negotiation.
they've already got Bartola in on this.
Yeah, they're a little ordering up, so.
Yeah.
This is what you do.
I know,
These drums have rattled before.
Yeah.
My only point is stick to the three advisory committees.
I agree with you.
Don't catch your negotiating team down to two.
Yeah.
That's by the way what the minutes reflect.
Exactly.
All right.
We already been there, done this before.
And we'll have our scheduled meeting for the water and waste.
And what day is that exactly? That's Tuesday of next week?
Yeah, 4 p.m.
Tuesday at 4 o'clock.
And we're gonna have it here because there's gonna be lots of folks, I think, involved. Instead of the wastewater plant, normally we have it in the lunchroom there, but it's gonna be small.
Tuesday, the 24th, is that?
26,
26th.
here in the council chambers.
Okay.
You ready to follow? We'll bring some donuts.
Yeah.
Or red meat.
Second motion will read
Red meat. Not fish either.
Okay, moving on.
All right. New business. Item A, fish plant lease proposals. What do we have here?
Real quick, I'll just go over my memo. In response to the city's advertisement seeking proposals for leasing the fish plant, we did receive one proposal. The proposer is Living Pacific Seafood LLC. They did submit their proposal before the deadline, and you all have a copy of it. So, depending on what you want to do, our advertisement says that we reserve the option to reject any and all proposals. Or if you choose to accept this proposal, then a motion to enter into negotiations to come up with a lease agreement would definitely be in order.
well, so moved, I think this
Yes.
is so well done.
Second.
Jeffrey, this is
Yeah.
a proposal, but we have an issue about the gym crane. Maybe we should have Jeffrey come up and we can talk to
Right,
our perspective bidder about the gym crane.
Good evening. I'm happy there was only one proposal. I love no companies. So I'm happy where we're at, first of all, because it's been a long discussion, and I think it was appropriate because we worked our way through a lot of different things. As far as the crane goes, there's one side of me that is an independent business person that flies by the seat of his pants a lot, and so you do things the way you can afford to do them sometimes, or it's good enough for me, that's all I'm worried about. I would have to say, I'm remiss in that I got together a sketch for Brady and of the existing cranes in Newport that we use now in the public unloading dock. And they're a pretty clean, simple design. They're built by one of the welders, I think maybe Toledo Shipyard built them. But at the time I had that together, I sensed that the the city was moving down the path with US Crane. I thought it was, you know, I didn't want to stick my nose into something that may not be my business. But that is an alternative that we could talk about if you want. The other side of this issue is one that you were just dancing around when you said the terrible word lawyer. It may be in the city's best interest to stick with somebody like US Crane because of product liability and those types of issues. I'm not saying that Toledo Shipyard wouldn't have that also, but cranes are cranes. And so you cannot ignore the importance of having a good design and a proven design. So it will be an important tool on that dock. I would say that it's probably appropriate for the city to proceed as they're proceeding. There's a second dock, crane pad there already. If we are successful in arm wrestling the lease, then we decided that we want a different crane and that it would land at our feet to address that ourselves. But I don't, I think we'll have increased unloading if we're operating the plant. And I think we'll have increased use of a lift for boats. You know, they're always needing things put on and off and repairs and whatnot. But I don't think it's going to be around the clock type operating scenario. I think it's we will over the next few seasons attract some salmon boats back in, some of the crab boats back in. So, in my normal circular thing, I think probably it's appropriate that you and I have a discussion about this other design. See if it's worth the effort to see if they want to give a figure. And it may be totally different than the design you're talking about. Right. I think it's really important to have it engineered well. Don't do a stick weld like I would do.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. I did some research, so I got notes, but we'll talk about it. You bet.
Okay, great.
But if we're gonna do something here, when's crab season open up?
December.
In December,
Yeah.
so we can't spend too much time.
No, I agree. That's why I was sitting out here thinking, should I say anything or not in public comments? And I, you know, time is of the essence for both sides of the situation. So maybe if we can just have a quick discussion about it, see if it's worth pursuing this other, because I don't know what design you dealt with US Crane. It may be a very similar thing to it.
Right.
I just, I don't like to design a new wheel, and these, you know, these work. One of the important things is the rotating base, the bearing base that is in play down there is proven to be an improvement over what's been done in the past. So anyway, I'll catch up with you tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to
Hopefully I didn't throw all my notes away.
Okay.
Then would it be appropriate for us to authorize Brady, if he, after you guys meet, if he decides moving ahead with US Crane makes sense, to authorize him
I got
to
the
do
green
it?
light. So,
Yeah.
I
okay.
agree with that, absolutely.
With the same.
But we need a motion to say that, I believe, because it's a major expenditure.
Sounds like a good motion.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
No, wait a minute. Sherry's going to slow us down.
so there's a motion on the floor to enter into negotiations with Living Pacific Seafood LLC for a lease agreement for the fish plant.
That's a second.
And did you second
I
it?
just did.
All right, that was my first question. Okay.
So I guess we should vote on that
Yes,
before we.
please.
Could, for discussion, could we add the same limit for what was it, 20,000 for the?
Well, that's
Two separate motions. Two separate motions. Two different motions.
Oh, yeah, I'm never going backwards.
You know, actually, I did have one, I just have one question, I wrote one down here. Before we enter, and this is just for you to think about. Our engineer identified a weight limit with floor 2,
That's
saying
right.
you cannot exceed a weight limit,
That's
yada,
correct.
yada, 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 yada. Well, here, it has you developing your HACCP plan, which I totally understand, but you're also talking about processing fish and other items on that second floor.
Right, well, I don't foresee doing anything that's going to approach that. That load limit, it sounds low, but when you really, it's within, well within that load limit to have a number of people up there. I'm not going into the fish processing per se. I look at that room as, my first move, quite frankly, will be cooking and freezing crab, because they have a market for that now. And so most of that equipment will be downstairs. What will go on upstairs probably will be packing. So there'll probably be a vacuum packing machine, which is a small item.
There's also.
Let me throw this out there.
There's also.
Before we do anything upstairs, we can obviously be sure that we stay within the parameters of the engineered design. What I have in my mind doesn't approach anything that's going to, I did talk with Dave when he was here, and if there were a point load or something like that, and a point load being an individual machine in one spot, that we would design additional support than what's there now underneath. We also, Brady, I've talked about possibly taking down some of the existing weight that's hanging from that floor, that we won't be, like there's a rail system that, unless the city wanted to keep it, I don't foresee myself using anything like that in my operation. And there's probably 1,000 pounds up in the air there. And it's not much, but it's spread out across an area. So anyway,
We'll take that up on the lease.
I don't think it's gonna be an issue. What I have planned up there is not gonna approach that.
Okay. That- I'm just curious what HACCP is.
Well, HACCP is a federal program for food processing, cleanliness, and it's a set of standards that you're required to produce a plan that you're going to adhere to these sets of rules to prevent, salmonella and things like that. It's basically clean your room, and you clean your room every day. And so, and I have experience with my past in the sea urchin business. Our processing plant was a large plant that required a significant amount of planning for that. And so I'm not looking at a major operation. It'll be the room that exists there now in all probability. And it'll be predominantly for packaging product that's not downstairs.
Okay.
And the motion was?
Call the question. Call the question.
Please call.
Okay. Makala,
Yes.
Gambino,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Goddard,
Yes.
Left,
Yes.
Boykin,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Okay, and then before he goes back to the bid crane, while Mr. Malfino's still here, do you want to identify tonight how you want to proceed with these negotiations? In the past, the council has done a couple of different ways. They've had the full council meeting in executive sessions with the proposed tenant.
Lessor.
Or, that's proposed lessor, thank you. Or the city council has assigned an ad hoc committee of council members to meet, come up with a draft agreement to bring back to the council. So, have you given much thought to how you want to proceed?
Let's do the executive meeting.
So the full council.
Perry, there, you have a document, that lease agreement from 2004 that I looked at. That's a good document.
You want to start with that?
I would
then?
like to have all the councilors get that, and perhaps Mr. Malfino.
I have it.
Oh, you have a copy of that? And let's look up that. Have you seen that, Jeremy? It's a really good.
Not very long back.
Could you circulate that to us? please?
Absolutely. Okay, so do you want to schedule? You want to think about schedule?
And we have an executive session the next meeting, don't we? I think I read
You
something.
do,
You
and it's
do?
specific to meeting with representatives of the Granite Trust. So, these negotiation meetings typically take more than half an hour, and you're gonna have more than one of them, probably. So,
Didn't we have two lease proposal agreements? Didn't we have two separate?
well, we have, what we included in the RFP packet for interested parties was the most recent lease agreement, which was the 2004 one. Yes, there was one prior to that. There was one in 98.
Go ahead.
I would like to say, I mean, obviously, I'm sitting here happy because we've made this point. I would, although time is somewhat of the essence, it's not huge pressure. If you have this other meeting that you don't want to deal with this week, another week or so is not going to kill anything. And as far as the 2004 lease, there's 95% of it that I'm fine with. There are a few items in there that are all under the same tone, which I think kind of step into running the business as opposed to leasing a building. And so I don't see that there's going to be long drawn out discussions, but there'll be some. I also think that we've had lots of discussions in the last few years about the needs of the city and where we're going with this, and it'd be nice, I think, to start with having an idea of what our targets are a little bit better, so that we, when we do have a meeting, we'll, and as far as our side table, Lou and I will both be involved in that. And I think that it's more, I think we're really in agreement of what we want to do with this building and how it affects the harbor. It's just a matter of getting that in a language that
Okay.
is clear.
Two things, Dory, I'd like to see both those lease agreements go out to everybody, and you can go through and modify or whatever.
You want me to present you then with at least a first draft of what we'd like to see? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, right, and we can do the same thing.
Yeah,
We can meet in executive session. And secondly, Corey, I don't think that the granite thing will take very long. Can we have two executive sessions?
Oh, well, you can have one executive session with a couple subjects, yes, absolutely.
Is it going to be enough time?
So we provide, Mr. Malvino already has the most recent past lease agreement, doesn't have the one prior to that. So what's your time frame if I get that to you?
When was this executive session?
September 2nd.
September 2nd? Yeah, we can be ready.
Well, my idea is this, solely is to have Mr. Malvino have both of those items, modify or whatever, what he thinks, and then the council will get that, and we'll go through them and have our ideas and corrections for the executive session, and then we'll handle it.
Well, that would mean you would have to,
I have a question on that, I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding what AJ said. You're expecting that he's going to have those and give us a draft before September 2nd, and we review them and discuss them with what our suggestions are on September 2nd.
Well, I would imagine this will probably take us a couple of sessions, so, and the protocol of the city, what its needs are and how you have your meetings is not up to me. But I would imagine in my experience that we'll have a couple of sit-downs. I really don't think there are any big issues, but I think there are some issues that we need to get on the same page on, that's all.
Well, I was basing that on your statement of 95%.
Yeah, one of the things that, and this may be just niggly on my part, but there are some clauses in the 2004 that state operation hours, and I don't think that's appropriate to tell a business what time it operates. And it was concerning access to the rest of the port members to the plant for services, and I would like to consider handling that as an on-call basis. Right now, I get up, my boats call me for bait. If I get a call at 2 in the morning from a boat that wants to go on the next item, wants to bait, I get up and go get the bait. And my plan here is to have someone along with myself available. So if we get a call, and I don't see that being the issue, but if, say, a charter boat decides they need ice the next day, if they give us, a few hours lead time, we'll get somebody down there to get the ice. But saying that I'm gonna have someone standing there I don't know, I don't really honestly know what my operating hours as far as personnel are gonna be yet, because it's a new process, and we're gonna build into it gradually. So it's not a big deal. I just have learned that to be very careful of language in an agreement like this, because it needs to be win-win. And we don't want me coming in here like the guy from Winnie Beach and Sorry.
I would think that if those two reasons were provided to everybody involved here, we have a chance to look at them, have a chance to write down our thoughts, and then bring those thoughts to this meeting on the second,
As an initial.
as an initial meeting where we can
That's-
dovetail this
that'll
with the other executive session. That'll bring us all together, we can get our thoughts, have copies made, so we each get copies of whatever. And then we can proceed to the next meeting.
All right,
What time is this executive session going to be?
That's up to you.
Well, we have 6:30 to 7 for the Granite family, correct?
There really hasn't been a time stated yet. I don't know how involved that discussion will be because there's going to be a lot of questions regarding what the city's looking for. I don't know, I can't remember.
Why don't we just start with an hour, half hour each one, and
That's what I was gonna
you know we're gonna have more anyway.
Do we start at 6 instead of 6:30, the executive meeting on Tuesday?
I'm lost. We weren't gonna do this at the next executive session.
No, we are.
We are.
We are.
We're going to get copies
That's
of
why I wanted-
this.
What about, why don't we go to 9:45?
We're gonna start discussions.
Maybe Saturday, we just,
I realize.
all right, let's do it, let's start at 5:30 then.
Okay.
Mr. Malpino's first. Mr.
Well, in regards to the Granite family, they were first.
They were first in
agenda,
line,
so
that's fine.
They should be
Yeah.
first.
Okay.
So we'll figure 5:30 to 6 for the Granite family, 6 to 7.
Or so.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll just be here and you're done with that and we'll get started.
Okay.
By the way, the proposal hit all the RFP. It was great.
It's all good. Well, we worked on it a little bit to try that. I was under the impression that there were a couple other people darting around, so I've been on like a cat and knot. And so,
Yeah, I thought there was too.
I
There
thought
were, there were,
Well,
there were.
yeah.
What'd you do, scare them off?
Yeah, he
Well,
did.
you know, being of an Italian background, I
I was
can't
gonna
give
say,
you
it's that
convinced
last
details on
meeting.
how we handle our business. All right, so trying to get out your hair.
All right,
Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
on to the council meeting video policy. What are we doing with that?
Staff is asking for your direction on what to do with the videos of the council meetings. In other words, establishing a policy. Emma has provided a very detailed, lots of information memo to you, which I hope you've had a chance to look at. She's here tonight, she can tell you a little bit about it, answer questions, but that's literally what we're looking for. What does the council want to do? Do you want to have the videos on the city's website? Do you simply want us to put them in a story, I'll have her talk about this then, or make a DVD and file it? I mean, what do you want to do with these videos? Now that we're actually up in front, and no, I haven't been trained yet, but Emma's here now, so. So if you have any questions,
So
I'm
only
gonna ask
$5 a
Emma.
month extra, that's it? And it's for going from 10 gigabits to 100 gigabits, but next year it might need and require more than that, is that correct?
I wouldn't
You
expect.
don't think so?
No.
Because if we were to archive those onto the disk like you suggested, after 6 months, say you have 6 months worth of video or 3 months worth of video, you could then archive it then, just the same way you're doing everything else in the other file.
Well, we do have a 2 terabyte external hard drive that we can store a lot of videos on. So that should cover us for quite some time.
Does this go to the cloud then with backup, and how does that work?
We should do our backup in-house. Online storage is going to If you want to store very much online, that is going to run into some money pretty quickly. And my recommendation was actually to create website access to the 6 most recent council meeting videos and no more than 6 months of audio. And at first, to only put up 1 video at a time until the public gets used to having that available, so we don't run into a situation like we did before with where the website was taken down because somebody was hitting the site.
But that was audio.
That was audio, yeah. It was a single audio file, and somebody just hit it over 200 times in a very short period of time. And I came back from lunch one day and the site was just down, it was gone.
Did you ever figure out what the point was?
Well, we don't really know. We were told what the offending IP address was, but, you know, we don't know who that was. People can, you know, look at their own address and see, oh, was it me? But we don't know who it was.
Well, I think we ought to rely on the expertise of staff. I really don't know anything about it.
Neither. I don't either.
Well, we still have to decide about what do people get to see on the website, but that's one of your main
I was
questions.
just gonna say, you know, do you want us to proceed and have, per Emma's recommendation, the 6 most recent council meeting videos available on the city website?
And 6 months of audio.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's audio just not only from the city council meetings, but still the audio that we get for the rest of the meetings?
We're only
We're only
posting
posting
city
the
council.
city council.
audio, yes.
And so if
then
somebody
we-
wants the other meetings, they have to come in and physically ask for that.
Yes. Yeah. And I would really recommend that we only put up 1 video at a time for a while.
Yeah.
Go around.
I don't have any problem with that.
I would just go for it.
Yeah.
Just give it an experiment.
May I make a motion?
Please.
I move that we accept staff's recommendation and authorize them to move forward as recommended.
Second.
Made and seconded. Any more discussion? Go ahead.
Well, like I said, I answered my own questions, so never mind about the DVDs, like that have, like, we have the ability to burn DVD in case somebody wants a
Absolutely.
video or.
It takes quite a while though, as you can see. from
I
the
know.
red bars. Yeah.
To burn, and like I said, and two, we'll hit that, for what happens with the deal with, with broadband about having it. Hopefully we'll still get a channel from.
Oh, you mean on channel, the public access?
Yeah,
channels?
public access to.
Yeah, that's.
Well, that's what I'm saying, we can do that. That's what I said. Okay, so, I'll shut up now.
As always.
Gambino?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Goddard?
Yes.
Left?
Yes.
Whitehead?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Napala?
Yes.
Thank you.
Under the Civil Air Patrol advertisement.
City's been approached by the Civil Air Patrol asking if the city would be interested in putting an ad in their magazine, I think it's called Wings. It's published 4 times a year. The city did this one time before, a few years ago. You have a copy of what they provided. So for one time, for example, a full-page ad for the city of Depoe Bay would cost $895. Their lease cost 1/18 of a page, that's a 2 5/16 inches times 1 9/16 inches, is $145. Again, that's for 1/4 magazine, that's not per year. This really, the only comment I have to say, this really is a fundraiser for them.
Well, that was my question. How does this ad benefit Depoe Bay? And how does it benefit in any way the Civil Air Patrol or its magazine?
No, it definitely benefits the Civil Air Patrol there. totally funded by donation. Pretty much.
Well, I know, but somebody's gotta pay for the printing and the,
Well, perhaps somebody that perishes out of their plane jumping in
I don't
people
know,
or
I
flying might go through something.
well, first of all, right, go ahead.
So that would tie us in with the Swansea Airport, is that what the deal is?
Oh, I
I don't think that's.
Like I say, for them, that organization, this is a fundraiser,
This is
and
a-
they're knocking on your door.
This is like Coast Guard Auxiliary.
They have hit every business in town. This is a fundraiser for the Civil Air Patrol. If you want to donate to the Civil Air Patrol, I say donate to them. I don't know that we'll do the city of Depoe Bay a darn bit of good to take an ad out in the magazine. It's a fundraiser, it's all it is.
Yeah, if we think it's important to donate to the Civil Air Patrol, let's write the check to the Civil Air Patrol instead of the magazine.
And in doing that, I took out an ad in this magazine. This is a donation to the Civil Air Patrol for our business. Because I like the Civil Air Patrol. But all it is a fundraiser. It has no benefit to the city of Depoe Bay.
Well taken.
And we just turned down a whole lot of organizations a lot closer to us, so.
Like I said, if you want to donate to the Civil Air Patrol, write a check. You can advertise your business in whatever it is you want to do, but I don't think that it holds any great importance to the city of Depoe Bay.
Yeah, besides that, we have the chamber that is advertising for us. So, somebody like to make a motion on this?
We just started to say.
If we just don't make a motion, then nothing happens.
Okay, forget that one. Oh, little chocolate in there. Proposed real property lease agreement, U.S. Government Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Coast Guard. Larry?
Okay, this, again, hopefully you've had a chance to review this. It's not a lengthy agreement, but the typing is, font is pretty small. Real briefly, 20 years ago, this September, the U.S. Coast Guard entered into a lease agreement with Lincoln County. And it's specific to right on the south side of the channel entrance. There's a little block building, I think it's white with a red roof. That houses a generator. And then a little bit to the west of that, there's a foghorn light sitting right there, owned by the Coast Guard. And so 20 years ago, they entered into a lease agreement with the county for those two little parcels. And 5 years after that, the county transferred that property to the city. And we didn't know that, nobody mentioned this lease agreement. So with a little bit of research and investigation, we've come up with this lease agreement between the city and the Coast Guard. And so I'm asking for your authorization to enter into this lease agreement. It has been reviewed by the city attorney. He had a couple of minor revisions, and the Coast Guard accepted those minor revisions. And as far as he's concerned, it's good to go.
Is just a offhand question, does the, if we were to institute the harbor leases that have been let go so many years ago, is that property affected by those
No,
leases?
no.
It's something different altogether.
No, this is on the open side of the bridge. It sits right below,
Yeah, I know where the
Daisy
homes
Ring.
are.
Yeah, it would not, anyway.
I move that we approve this lease for $0 and authorize the mayor to sign it.
Second.
Paul, please.
I have a little bit more discussion here.
No.
They're on the last page in the general clauses, number 3. It says that all of the equipment, the building systems and all the equipment have to be maintained and operational. To include the foghorn?
Yeah, that's a
No. The foghorn needs to be operational and back up and running.
How long ago was it?
Wasn't it?
It was
About 5 years
discontinued.
ago. They put it on a radio frequency where if you knew what to do, you put your radio on a certain channel and click the mic 3 times and turn in a circle and hopefully you come on. Oh, it never worked. It never worked. That foghorn is an aid to navigation and it needs to be operational. And I think that needs to be part of this lease. I mean, it's right.
You know what?
And we all, and in line with that, I remember the city council discussion that the foghorn was turned off because Channel House customers complained to the Coast Guard. That's why it was turned off and hasn't worked since.
I remember that as well.
Right.
So I think,
we need to have our foghorn down.
yeah, I think we mentioned it and asked them to move forward with it, but I don't think we don't sign the lease because.
No, I'm not saying that, no.
Okay.
I just think that we need to put that in,
Yeah.
One of the duties of the Coast Guard Auxiliary is to identify Antons that are not working. Anton is aids to navigation. And I know that has been on the list for the last 2.5 years from the Coast Guard Auxiliary local to the national. So it's like moving a brick wall.
I mean, it's bad enough that we have a buoy that's in the wrong spot out there that nobody will listen to, but without the foghorn, I want to.
Just for your information, the harbor has so much traffic going in and out, so this clicking the mic so many times, that thing will be going on and off at the one punch. So the Department of Homeland Security is going to have to figure out another way to activate that at the proper time.
Yeah.
It's,
There are photo synthesis
right?
written down there to activate that when they detect spot, to automatically turn it on. They discontinued that because of this complaint.
It was needed just recently, within the last week.
Yes.
There was 2 boats in the kelp and up against the rocks trying to find the channel. And the fog was so thick, and this was in broad daylight. So-
Exactly.
Well, and that's a point well taken, well,
It's like the two ships
Yeah,
that
put-
came together in Newport.
let's
Yeah.
put that into the wordage then, that it'll be operational. But they're gonna have to point out another way to do it besides clicking a mic.
Oh, yeah, it needs to go back to the automatic, if it's foggy, the foghorn comes on. It's an aid to navigation, it's gotta be on day and night.
Well, yeah, that's part of the charter, it's supposed to be operational.
It's right there.
And since we're a harbor of refuge, I'm glad you picked up on that, that's good.
Can I make a suggestion when, we'll authorize AJ to sign the lease. Maybe AJ should write a cover letter to go with the lease to the Coast Guard, specifically discussing the foghorn and saying we need it operational. Because we're not going to not sign the lease. I mean, we actually almost don't have a choice if we read the lease carefully.
That's true, if we make a little noise, maybe we.
Well, that's what I'm saying, the cover letter, I think, would be a way to do it, and also we got a good contact in the auxiliary here. So you can also help.
Yeah, I can talk to Dave, see the chief.
Yeah.
All right. Make that part of it,
It just needs to go back to.
Do you want to, shall I amend my motion to include that?
please.
Authorize the mayor to sign the lease and send a letter on behalf of city council requesting that the foghorn be reactivated, put back into service for
Operational as
navigation.
intended.
Yes, okay. And is that okay with the second, you were the second?
I was the second, that's fine. I would request a copy of that letter so I can give it to the senior chief. He'll be an advocate for us on that.
Okay,
Okay, good.
I think I know somebody who can put that together.
Never mind.
That was good. Who, me? Nudge, nudge. Oh, that was good. Oh, please call.
Barry.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Whiting.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Mackler.
Yes.
Gambino.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Item E, on to our
Very quick. You might also talk to the Coast Guard about the possibility of eliminating the line that goes from the little house over to the light on the north shore, figuring out some other way to hook that up. We're looking to one of the most scenic spots in the state or the west coast, and here's a wire going right across it. And I would think there'd be some easy way to do something.
Yeah, underground's not gonna happen.
It's kind of already drill-proof and salt.
But there are other ways, I would think. That would be nice.
Can you include that in your cover letter? Please?